Hi everyone, Vanessaira here with my first preview video of the HMS Hood. A very, very famous ship, pride of the Royal Navy, regretfully going out in a tragic fashion against the KSM Bismarck in the Battle of the Strait of Denmark. But in this game, we get to play with the ship and kind of live the what if phase of this ship and, if what might have happened if had she survived the battle and, get to actually play her. Like Arizona, we get to live on digitally in the digital battlefield. So this was one of the decent games that I had with this ship. It is kind of similar to Warspite. If you're familiar with Warspite, you're going to kind of see some similarities here. The Hood definitely is a longer ship. It is a much, much faster ship. Definitely when you get up to 32 knots, you are going to be feeling that speed and definitely keeping up with cruisers. And you can really kind of zip around on the map, kind of getting wherever you need to get to rather quickly. It can also lead to some situations where you will outrun your support and kind of get out front and get focused a little bit. The guns handle very much like Warspite, additional range to those guns, however. One exception being that we don't get a spotter plane. So the range is the range and what you get is what you get. At the filming of this video, it was actually a patch or two behind the current iteration of HMS Hood. In fact, when this video goes live, the Hood should be live for purchase. So the Hood that you are seeing here is actually not the final Hood that you are going to see in game. All stats, statistics, all parts of this ship are subject to change, and by the time you get the ship, it very much has changed. That being said, the fundamentals of this ship is still really the same. The shot pattern on this ship very much kind of flows out into a line. I know we talked about this on the podcast quite a bit, but when you shoot with these guns, it really looks like you're just kind of drawing a horizontal line across your shot pattern or across the reticle. And you can pretty, confidently know that your guns are going to place their shots pretty much in a line wherever you are, kind of shooting at. So once you kind of learn these guns, you can kind of understand how you need to aim. And you'll see a couple times in this video that exact point of really where those guns in the shells and the dispersion pattern is kind of landing. Little White Mouse did an amazing set of statistical shots, shot patterning, dispersion, vertical dispersion, and sigma. You should really check out the threads that she's been doing on the Wargaming forums because it really shows a lot of good information. And she did a good breakdown between Warspite and Hood in just kind of the differences in the vertical, horizontal, and the sigma with the dispersion of these guns. And you'll kind of see as I'm starting to shoot at this Fuso here, you can really kind of start to see the actual dispersion and really what you're going to be dealing with this ship. Thankfully, I had some support. One of the nice things about testing a ship is you generally get some people to support you, so that's kind of nice. But in turn, you also get a lot of aggro. You will get a lot of people shooting at you. So one thing to just kind of keep in mind whenever watching a preview video, understand that what you experience may be a lot different from what the previewer and tester has been experiencing with the ship. So we're kind of cautiously coming in here into this battle. This cap is contested, and on the map definitely looks like the red team has B pretty well covered. So we are trying to keep this island between us and kind of work down this Fuso to maybe kind of run in and have a play at B. And this Fuso is doing something that you just should not do. You should not be broadside to this many ships. And again, you can really see how the dispersion pattern is just kind of drawing a line. It's just kind of going horizontal. The ship is really long. Really long. So that being said, you have a tremendously massive ship at Tier 7. I believe it's not as long as Yamato, but it's pretty close. We're just kind of cautiously coming in here to Bravo. We don't really want to overextend, especially with how long the broadside citadel is on this ship. We really don't want to expose the citadel. It is a very good-looking ship. That being said, you know, the pride of the Royal Navy, you are definitely going to feel the pride of the Royal Navy when sailing the ship. And we are trying to angle here. This Leander is coming in. And really just with the angle that I've got here, and you're going to notice, because replays are, yeah, buggy, you're going to realize shots are being fired, even though the reticles and the turrets are not exactly matched up with the replay.
Our team has taken the lead.
And this, right now, is where I totally wish that they went a little ahistorical with Hood and allowed her to have torpedoes as well in this configuration. I feel this ship would have been even better if it was like Mutsu and had just, you know, some single launch, narrow firing window torpedoes. I felt would have really kind of made it a little more competitive, given how limited the secondaries are on this ship. That being said, I did go with a secondary build to test this ship, just to see how effective they might be. Very similar to Warspite as far as range, 7.6, if you have it all maxed. I went with the manual fire control since this is a Tier 7, so you will see a number of secondary battery hits, but the actual damage and fire set, it just hasn't been much. So I definitely do not recommend necessarily going a secondary build. I definitely would probably advise maybe buffing your anti-aircraft capabilities. The rockets are interesting, to say the least. They do massive damage, but have incredibly limited range. Even with the AA buff in Toodles for Ataka.
Enemy cruiser destroyed.
Never, just don't show broadside to a battleship, or it's just not a good idea. So we are going to charge this Colorado. Using our speed, we can really run down targets, and I felt in this instance that I really kind of wanted to get in a close combat situation. And you're going to notice here with this shot, how kind of staggering trying to get that dispersion to hit the Colorado. I didn't really get good dispersion there, but the shot patterning at least lined up good. Just didn't really get a good hit.
Torpedoes to start.
Going back to the anti-aircraft real quick, the AA module, when you use the defensive fire capability, really boost your rocket defensive fire up. It only boosts the rocket anti-aircraft modules on this ship. So that being said, it's really, I feel, only going to deter dive bombers. A smart carrier driver will probably lawn drop torpedoes on you with those torpedo bombers, because the range is so limited and this ship is so long. Unless you can do some serious speed braking and, kind of anticipate that torpedo drop, you are going to take torpedoes in this ship. So you notice here, Colorado is firing high explosive. I don't know if they're FHE build, or maybe they just don't understand mechanics. But yeah, really not doing much damage to me. And you're going to notice some secondary battery hits. And also, while I'm running down this Colorado, I was trying to get a good bow pen shot on Scharnhorst, and just barely missed. But I feel if I would have hit that shot, would have been pretty decent damage-wise. But I'm sitting here charging, and this actually has happened a couple games where I have used my speed and pretty decent armor to just kind of run down ships towards the end of battle and really put pressure on them. You really can kind of bully them and just make your presence known as, hey, I am running you down. And the psychological factor of that can really kind of unnerve people. You're going to see this Colorado just kind of like, what do? I don't really know what I'm doing. The Colorado's in the way. The Scharnhorst has torpedoed, but could potentially torpedo those Colorados. So as I am in the hood here doing a drive-by, and I always do this, I should probably zoom out as I'm actually doing this drive-by, but I'm trying to line up in clicking, yeah, turrets slow, turning the ship. That is an issue with Hood. It is an issue with Warspite. I have a feeling that this is going to be an issue with British battleships to come. But with improved AP angles, it might be how we see, these ships get balanced in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you.